Welcome back to Combust Astrology. My name's Liv. Hello, Aries risings. It's nice to see you, or sun and moon. So let's talk about Jupiter in Cancer for you. But first, before we do that, we got to talk about what it is that you guys have been going through. There's a lot. So let's go back in time. You've had Saturn sitting in your 12th house. Prior to this, in 2023, you had Jupiter sitting in your 3rd house. You had Pluto in Capricorn in the 10th house. And then you had Uranus in Taurus. Well, in this chart, it's still there, but it's been quite a bit of time, right? So your values and the way you want to essentially see yourself is being affected by Uranus. You had isolation, and also in that period of time, you had Chiron in the 1st, teaching you to understand yourself. You had Neptune sitting in the 12th for damn near 12 years, and you kind of had to really get to terms with understanding you. This is very spiritual of a transit. Pluto was in the 10th, dreaming about what it is that you want, not knowing, some fog, some confusion. It's a lot. It's a lot for a person to be going through, you know? Especially with Pluto there in the 10th, being the definition of capitalism. You know, things are changing for you guys, and doorways are opening that makes you realize you don't have to live life the way you used to before. As you move into this next phase, Saturn's in your 1st. I think I talked about leadership and relationships and choosing what you need to do. Pluto's in your 11th, talking about community, friends, how this all works out. Jupiter, when it was in your 3rd house, was a lot of stuff to take in, especially as it trined your 7th and your 11th, right? Jupiter is no longer there. It's in your 4th. So that was a little summary. Jupiter in Cancer is going to heal you in the most basic way of the 4th house, which is to feel safe again. You are still being pulled to lead, to be the warrior, to stand outside of your home. But at least with Jupiter sitting in the 4th, in Cancer now, it's not so lonely, right? Unless you have a lot of Libra placements, it's never been lonely if you have this chart. But Jupiter now in that 4th house is like, okay, let's mend our own love. Let's mend how I feel when I wake up in my own space. Let's mend family. Now it could be a good time to go back on the family ties, just like the Leo risings, because they have 4th house in Scorpio. But now is that time to heal that wound, right? To rest, recoup, recover. Because Pluto has been in that 10th house, constantly hammering at home that you're not anything unless you hit something, unless you reach something, unless you do something. But it's forget the work. Focus on what brings you joy and gives you influence on people. And Jupiter, the inconjunct to the 8th in your chart, was let's try a whole lot of things that once I would have committed to forever. But now let's just try it enough, right? You're changing, and it's a good change. For you guys, this transit gets to be that simple. As Saturn squares your Jupiter for a little bit, and then it squares it again, what you'll notice is having to pick a side in the family stuff. You have to establish boundaries, not just in a communication point of view, but you have to establish boundaries in the peace of your space, right? Not letting people just intrude into where it is that you need. The cardinal signs are actually about balance. If I flip this over and it was the Cancer rising, the 4th house would be Libra. If this was a Capricorn rising, the fourth house would be Aries with a 10th house in Libra. So it's always about balance. And so this axis of mutables, as I cover it, the key point here is to know when you're at war and when you're at rest, right? When you need to be comforted and when you need to be closed off. You guys don't have that much of a difficult transit, in my opinion. This is like saying no, point blank period, just saying no. So enjoy this period of time with Jupiter here and restore that bit of safety, that pleasant feeling in your home. It's more than the aesthetic of like Libra for a Cancer rising. This is like genuinely coming home. I feel safe. That is what that feeling is, right? Practice that, create that. With Neptune having been in your 12th house for a little bit, I feel like you guys know that, because a little bit is like 10 years. And the North Node now being in there as well really is like, it could be something super simple, like making sure that when you get home, you doom scroll on TikTok for 30 minutes before you do anything else. It's just about what makes you feel good, right? That's the key point. 4, 5, and 6 are about the everyday activities. Home is where the heart is, joy, faith, fun, and the everyday activities. That's what these are. So if you got home and you just did nothing, if that makes you happy, that's perfectly fine. Carry that home with you as you go through your day-to-day, especially in the battles that you will face with Saturn, because you're going to be demanded of that, and if you have Capricorn placements, the Saturn squaring the 10th is like leadership. So that's pretty much it for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that as you guys go through this next phase of your life with Neptune in your first, check out that video, of course, you can really understand that this is what you've been working on these past few years.